Alright, your first scenario is having to replace one of these pieces of glass up here at the top of the entry of the engineering building. And we've got several things that have to happen. You have to keep the entry open at all times for students and anybody else that wants to come in. And so there's some hazards there. If you take a look at this overhang, it's pretty solid, but there's still openings where things could get through. So you have to take that into consideration. You also have to take into consideration that there's a major walkway here, major walkway here, and a major walkway here. So where are you going to put the piece of equipment? What type of pieces of equipment are you going to use for this to get up to that height? Okay. And how are you going to reroute pedestrians or protect pedestrians? And how are you going to get them in and out of this building during that time? Your next scenario is the Raul H. Castro Social and Behavioral Sciences building, and you're going to replace the roof on this. So there's two levels of roof. There's this lower roof that you can see and an upper roof that you can see. What you're going to need to decide is how to access this and how to protect the people that are doing the roofing. The parapet is 24 inches high, so you're going to have to consider that in your protections, and you're going to have to keep at least 2 entries of the building open at all times. And so right over here we have 1 entry to the building right there, and then I'm going to walk you around because I want you to see everywhere that you have availability to get to the roof, because you're going to have to get the old roof off and put it in dumpsters, and you're going to have to get the new roofing materials up there. So how are you going to do that? There's a parking lot right out there. But then we've got this steep drop off right here. And as you walk down it, you're going to see that there is another entry down on this side of the building. So is that going to be one of your entries into the building? Over here we've got a big planter, so that's going to prevent anything from accessing the roof right there. We've got a walkway. You got to consider all the student walkways around here. Three stories of building here. We're going to have a lot of student traffic that comes right through here because of the buses. We've got one more entry here. And things you would need to consider for accessing the roof on this side. Those are stairs right there. We've got a planter that's in the way. We've got big giant boulders in the way. We've got access over here, but we've got landscape area with the drainage ditch right there. Trees. Over on this side, once again, we have big planters that could get in the way of any type of access. We have one more entry on this side. So there's 4 entries into this building. And there's a greenhouse right there. And this landscape area slopes up pretty quickly. So now you've seen the whole building. You can decide what you want to do and answer the questions. So your company has been hired to repaint all the tan areas of the Health Professions building. And believe me, it actually needs to be done. So we're going to do a walk around here. We're going to point out the entries and where you might have to protect different groups that are coming in and out. So right here on the north side of the building, we've got a big tan area. We have an entrance over here, two entrances actually, that you're going to be working over the top of. We've got a big planter here. We've got a main thoroughfare for students on South Campus. So are we going to need to protect them? Are we going to need to designate areas where they can't be? What are we going to do? Okay, around the bottom, on the northwest corner, we've got stuff that needs to be painted. Over here we have a planter, and then we've got more paint right above this entry. What are we going to do to protect students and faculty and anybody else that comes in and out of here? On the west side, we have an area that needs to be painted, but what's unique about this is we've got a giant planter on this side. How are we going to access 3 stories high to do this painting with a planter? This is unique. Over here on the south side, we've got 3 major areas that need to be painted, and we also have entries and exits. And we also have a planter over here that's going to prevent you from doing a great job accessing that one right there. So what are you going to do in that situation? How are you going to access it? How are you going to protect people? We have a loading dock over on this side, along with some more areas to paint. Another entry into the building on this loading dock. Another corner that's over the top of a planter. And then now we're on the east side of the building. We've also got some big ugly bushes over here. I hate these bushes. They're so ugly. But how are we going to get to these now? I say, chop down all these bushes. But that's just my idea. Over here we've got some large electrical equipment. And then another planter on this corner. How y'all gonna do it? Okay, this is the College of Business, and this is the west entry on the south side of the building. So we've got steps right there. We've got a small ramp that goes up. We've got steps over here. And as we come out here, you're going to see the metal panels. And your job is to figure out safety for replacing all these metal panels. Not sure why you need to replace them. They're in really good shape. And I hear the guy that was in charge of this project did a really good job of making sure they were installed correctly. But let's just pretend for a minute that they needed to be replaced. We've got these steps right here. Up the steps, we've got a flat area of pavers. And the steps go down all the way around. Another section of metal panel over here. Green grass, probably soft and squishy. Maybe you don't want to put a piece of equipment on it. We've got a walkway here and a walkway here that comes up, slopes up, and slopes all the way to that entry. So how are we going to do this? How are you going to do this safely? What types of pieces of equipment could you use to do it? And how are you going to protect pedestrians and students and everything else that might be harmed in this particular operation? So for this particular operation, construction project, you're going to have to pretend that this bridge does not exist, because you've been hired to build this bridge. So you have the luxury of being able to see this bridge already constructed and understand it. But this is a steel and concrete bridge. The main columns of this bridge are cast in place concrete. And so you'll see as we walk over here that this concrete column is very close to the road. There's also plenty of work for this bridge that needs to happen over the top of the Sinclair Wash, and it extends all the way back over here. We've got a road that has traffic on it. What are you going to do with that traffic during construction of this? When you have to bring in big concrete pumps to be able to pump this column right here, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna make sure pedestrians in the area are safe? How are you gonna make sure that traffic is safe, or that traffic doesn't exist? There's an option. We've got the main thoroughfare of students through campus located right next to it. So what are we gonna do with students during that time?